I honestly still don't know what to say exactly, and my words are probably a little bit jumbled. And I haven't put into thought exactly what I want to do yet, but I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that yesterday the world lost a comedy legend when Robin Williams passed away. Now, we will be doing something on Pop in the near future about Robin Williams and his career, and probably a verses or two in the distant future involving Robin Williams' work. And I know we have been reviewing a lot of Williams' actual work. We reviewed Angriest Man in Brooklyn recently, and Williams was a great part of that film, even though AJ didn't really like the movie very much. And he still does have the last of the Night at the Museum films to come out. So before I get started on the Raw recap, I know it may not be the right time, but I do want to have a moment of silence for the amazing, incredible career of someone who a lot of comedians can owe their entire existence to. Just like with what happened with George Carlin when he passed away, this is going to hit Hollywood extremely hard. And there's a lot of things I will never be able to see the same again, and a lot of things that I will have to shed a tear the next time I view. So, real quick, I just wanted to have a nice moment of silence for Robin Williams. Thank you for letting me have that. And I'm sorry we have to start in such a somber tone, and my words might get away from me today, but like I said, it's been kind of crazy, obviously, with this last several hours. And I want to do what would be done in the situation. A wise man once said the show must go on, so obviously I'm here to entertain you guys, because obviously entertaining in a time of sadness is always one of the best things to do. Sometimes laughter is the best medicine, and hopefully I will be able to give you a little bit of smiles today with my review overall. So I'm not trying to get anything out of this. I just wanted to say a few words because I thought it was the right thing to do. So, real quickly, I do want to mention there was quite a curveball that was thrown at us yesterday. And what I mean by that is that Athens threw down a couple surprises. Number one, we've already known that we're going to be going out of town to see Boyhood and Magic in the Moonlight. That's pretty much been a guarantee since we heard they were coming. And I made a joke to AJ the other day saying, well, what happens if there's a third movie? Well, there's a third movie. And it is actually a movie that we've been wanting to see for a long time, and that is A Most Wanted Man, which is Philip Seymour Hoffman's film, one of his last films. And that is now coming, and they're all coming on the same day. So I have reason to believe that I'm going to get a chance to see all three of them. Now, Athena Grand decided they want to throw a curveball at me. We already had the curveball thrown at us that A Most Wanted Man was coming out with Boyhood and Magic in the Moonlight. Well, we have another one thrown at us because What If is actually coming to Athena Grand, Zoe Kazan's new movie. And we're going to be checking that out as well. So we have 4 movies to go to Athens to watch, so we'll be doing that in the near future. And because of the way the scheduling is this week, we are doing 2 editions of AJ's movie reviews. It sounds like there's a possibility you're going to get AJ's movie reviews on... get an AJ weekend, basically. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be the brand new verses, so we'll talk about that later. And it was just announced last night that we have new hashtags for Halloween Horror Nights, being Stuffing, Imagination, and Famine. So yes, those 3 will... one of them to be announced at noon tomorrow, or today in this case, while I'll be at work when this happens. But, trust me, I'll be following along via Twitter and Facebook on my tablet, because that's how I roll. Excuse me. Now, I will state, we could be getting a reveal week, we could be getting all 3 tomorrow, anything's a possibility. And I'm saying tomorrow because it's tomorrow's video. There you go. Well, it would be tomorrow's video. Technically, it would be tomorrow's video because tomorrow's video would be Wednesday's video, and I'm going to be doing an American Werewolf in London video soon as I get some details from the maze, specifically from John Murdy, i.e. the code word and what it means. So that was thrown at us. So a couple curveballs thrown at us today, and sad moment, but like I said, the show must go on. We have to not let this get us completely down, and we have to reflect in some of the moments that Robin Williams has given us throughout his life and throughout our lifetime. So yes, we move onward here, and let's talk about Raw. This is the go-home show for SummerSlam on Raw, and this is the Hulk Hogan birthday show. So, excuse me. The set is, the top of the ramp has red and yellow presents everywhere, including a big one that looks like it could fit a person. So, who knows what would happen with that. So, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come to the ring to start off the show. Brock's wearing his Eat, Sleep, Conquer, Repeat shirt, but the repeat is crossed out, and it's a red and yellow piece of tape, and it says John Cena on it. So, the reason why Heyman is out here is Brock wants him to sell everyone on all the major events. That's what a good promoter does. To sell SummerSlam to the C-Nation. Bad things happen to good people against Brock Lesnar. Brock beat the streak. When he was a rookie, he set the Rock packing for 6 to 8 months. And then they actually mentioned the fact that Brock was the reason that Hulk Hogan went away for a year. If you're a John Cena fan, don't miss SummerSlam, because after this Sunday, you ain't gonna see Cena around here anymore. Brings up the 2012 Extreme Rules pay-per-view, when Brock got his hands on Cena, and Cena barely escaped. He still won, but he did not even closely win the war. He definitely lost the fight. Brock, of course, was put on blast by Heyman, and he says, you know what? He was 50% in that match. Of course, his diverticulitis was obviously acting up, so at 50% he still took it to Cena with everything he had. He still gave him a beating. And at SummerSlam on Sunday, he's going to be 100%. The beating will be that of a Shakespearean tragedy. So then Heyman wanted to freestyle. And it was awesome. He's a 15-time champ, and he likes to have his fun, but not at your expense, so let us school you now, son. No, we're not from West Newbury. No, we can't hip-hop like you. My client is the Conqueror. I'm just Brock's advocating Jew. You see, my name is Paul Heyman, and my client is the Beast, and on the 17th of August, on your title, he shall feast. You don't like Paul Heyman, guys? You think their attitude's too smug? You gonna beat Brock's ass because you the doctor of the thugs? I mean, you've beaten all the best, but now Lesnar's on your plate. You say your time is now? Brock says your calendar is out of date. So here's some free advice with SummerSlam drawing near. Get it out your damn system when you say the champ is here. Because we're 6 days away from the West Coast's biggest arena, where my client Brock Lesnar will conquer John Cena. And then he drops the mic. I was like, oh my god, that was awesome. So amazing. And then he says that this is Brock's house now, and on Sunday it's going to be Brock's championship. This ring is now Brock's home, and he's going to go out to dinner with Paul Heyman, and then after they're done with their lavish feast, he'll be back. So, that's how we start off the show. Paul Heyman freestyling. That was awesome. I don't care how that was written. I don't care how that went out. But that was pretty awesome and a great way to kick off the show. If you don't think that Cena and Lesnar has been built up to the best it possibly can be, if you don't think this is going to be the marquee match of SummerSlam on Sunday, you're absolutely crazy. And, you know, it's going to be quite a battle between the two warriors. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to Cena and Lesnar at SummerSlam. Should be phenomenal. So we get the first of several happy birthday Hulk Hogan messages. One from Flo Rida, we'll skip past that. And one from Weird Al Yankovic, which is pretty awesome. So basically, they're wishing Hogan happy birthday. Roman Reigns is set to face an opponent that was handpicked by the Authority. So here comes Kane out to the ring. But of course he has no mask, he has no gear, he's back in his suit, and he is doing the corporate Kane thing again. Never liked that name, never will. Back to being the director of operations. So you have two bald guys as director of wrestling operations for either company. Right on, two former world champions. Also right on. Roman Reigns is going to face off in a handicap match against Axel. So we pick it up, and Axel gets elbowed off the ring apron while Roman goes for the 10 punch in the corner. Ryback catches him at about 9 and Fallout powerbombs him. We come back to live action, and then Ryback has a chin lock on Reigns. He punches his way out. He punches Axel, trying to fight out of the corner. Ducks the clothesline, high elbow, and that nails Ryback flush in the jaw. Roman hits a right hand on Curtis Axel, and then Ryback sends Roman Reigns into the ring post. Axel sends Roman Reigns into the ring post, and then Ryback sends Roman Reigns into the ring post. Yes, that was a little bit redundant now, wasn't it? Axel back in the ring, drop kick, sends him into the corner. Ryback goes for the splash in the corner and whips Axel into a clothesline explode out of the corner from Roman Reigns. Leaping clothesline connects, Samoan drop to Curtis Axel, charging clothesline, and a clothesline on Ryback over the top rope to the floor. He kicks Axel's leg out from under him, Mr. Perfect style, and hits the leaping drop kick to the side of the head since he was precariously placed across the bottom rope. Sends Ryback into the ring post, tosses him in, Superman punch to Ryback, Superman punch to Curtis Axel, and then a spear to Ryback and a spear to Curtis Axel. And Roman gets on the mic and says, Randy Orton claims he stole something from him, but this Sunday he'll take everything from him. What's a viper when you knock its fangs down its throat? A worthless little worm. It's nice to see that in his time away from in-ring action, Roman Reigns has spent some time in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom, because I'm certain that that was straight out of the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor. Unbelievable. So, Kane walks up to Randy Orton in the back, and basically, Ryback couldn't get the job done, Kane himself couldn't get the job done, so Randy Orton is going to make it clear that he's going to get the job done and end Roman Reigns once and for all at SummerSlam. Well, Kane says Orton basically needs to get a tune-up match, so he gives him Sheamus in the feud that never ends that we saw over and over again, and it's something we haven't seen for a while, so maybe be fresh again. We'll see. We had our first match of the evening. It is Mr. Money in the Bank Seth Rollins taking on Rob Van Dam. And when it came down to it, this match supposedly was supposed to happen last week. Van Dam's still injured, and he did the house shows over the weekend and the tour over the weekend. So now he's back, and I think they were in Australia, actually. The Australian tour, I believe, is where it was. So Van Dam's now back to action. He faces off against Seth Rollins, and this match was kind of short. We come back from commercial. Rollins got a chin lock on Van Dam. And he breaks through. He tries to send Van Dam face first to the top turnbuckle. And of course, just like you can't powerbomb Billy Kidman, you can't throw Van Dam face first to the buckle. He'll kick you right in the face. What does he do? He kicks Rollins right in the face. So he misses the charging splash, does Rollins. A clothesline, scoop slam, and comes off the ropes. Somersault into a splash, like a rolling thunder, but not the senton. A regular splash as well. Only gets 2 on that. Standing sidekick to Rollins and hits a split-legged moonsault 1-2, and Rollins kicks out. Whip in reverse, and Van Dam gets stopped with a back kick from Rollins. Rollins whip in reverse and goes for a roll through into the monkey flip, gets tossed off the corner by Seth Rollins and blocks a shot, curb stomp, and that's the end. So Rollins is ready to go. He walks to the back, but he stops at the top of the ramp, and he starts looking over the different yellow and red presents that are surrounding the top of the entryway, and yeah, he's starting to wonder if he's losing his mind, or if there's someone or something in there. So there's no Chainsaw Charlie this time around. No, of course, when he turns his back, Dean Ambrose emerges from the box and explodes out and just starts beating the tar out of Rollins. He fights him up the ramp. He tosses him in the ring, and he clotheslines him over the top rope to the floor. Rollins powders Ambrose, grabs the mic and says, "Run, Seth, while you still can. In 6 days, your ass belongs to me. For $9.99, I'm going to get more than my money's worth." We get some very, very strange music, which sounds very diva sounding, and it seems like it played too early, so I'm going to guess there's a sound guy that doesn't have a job now. So we get our next segment, and Stephanie comes out and brings out Daniel Bryan's physical therapist, and that's Megan Miller. And for those of you that don't know anything about Megan Miller, she trained with Lance Storm, and she's formerly of ECCW in Canada, as well as PWA. You would know her as Jada, and she is now apparently going to be playing the Claire Lynch of WWE. On the bright side, she can actually work, so that's a good thing. So we can actually get a match out of this. Well, she basically says that she tried to make sure that Bryan was fine enough to get back in the ring, and she's ashamed. Her boyfriend left her, and she can't be his physical therapist anymore. And Stephanie's like, "Why did that happen? Why? What's going on?" He's like, "Well, it all started so innocently." Well, at least at first. I've been having an affair with Daniel Bryan. And since we don't have bad influence out here to call shenanigans here, hopefully Damian Sandow dressed as Sherlock Holmes comes out and tries to shed some light on the subject. Elementary, my dear Sandow. So, Brie comes out, steaming mad, of course. Stephanie says Bryan used you and then threw you away like trash, like what she called Stephanie last week. So, Bryan also said that she was a dead fish. Brie slaps Megan in the face, double legs her, and actually double legs Stephanie when she's making fun of her and saying that Megan was screaming, "Yes, yes, yes." And of course she gets double legged and Brie pounds away and she goes for a yes lock. Or I saw someone use this and I'm going to steal it for my own because I think it's brilliant. It's the Mabry lock. So we'll go with that. So we have yes lock, the no lock, and this is the Mabry lock. I like that because it's not quite the yes lock, it's not the no lock, it's kind of in the middle. It's kind of a Mabry lock, so it's kind of maybe. It's not yes, no, it's maybe, so it makes sense. Mabry lock, we'll go with that. I like that, that sounds brilliant. So, I believe credit to 4-on-1 for that, honestly. I don't recall, maybe. Or is that Mabry at this point? I know. So here comes the Stooges of 2014, Joey Mercury, Fit Finlay, and Jamie Noble, and they separate the two. They pull her off Stephanie, and Stephanie wants to finish this tonight, so we're getting a match tonight, apparently, between Stephanie and Brie. No, that's not going to happen, so what are they going to do to get out of it? We're going to find out soon. More Hulk Hogan birthday messages. This from football guys. I have no idea who they are. Drew Brees, I think I've heard that name before. AJ Hawk, whoever that guy is, and Aaron Rodgers, who apparently, if I remember correctly, he had a match in WCW, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I don't know anything about football or care. So yeah, that was that. So we had our next match. And the second I saw this set up, I was like, this is going to go short. And I was sadly mistaken. And I was happy to be wrong here as we got Jack Swagger against Cesaro in the feud that never happened. So we pick it up. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go 2 minutes in, I'll start writing, because you know what, this is going to go like 3 minutes, because the match against Ziggler was barely 2, and they're not really wanting to do anything with Cesaro right now. They're saving him for his babyface run by the end of the year, and obviously they're pushing Swagger into the feud with Rusev, because obviously he's going to go over on Sunday, so they have to build him up, so they use Cesaro to build up his credibility. Makes complete sense. But they actually gave us a very competitive match here, and I very much enjoyed what I saw. Cesaro goes for the deadlift side salto and connects. And Swagger, of course, has that giant bullseye on his ribs with those ribs taped from the attack from Rusev last week. So Cesaro punches away in the corner, and he charges in with a Swiss uppercut. And he steps on the head for good measure. He whips him into an abdominal stretch, and a knee lift. A backbreaker gets a 1 count. Step over armbar is applied, and he gets backed into the corner by Swagger. and 2 shoulder blocks, charges in, he eats the boot, and he goes to the middle rope, and Cesaro crowns Swagger with a double axe handle, goes to the middle rope, and Swagger ends up catching him with a belly-to-belly suplex, charges him with a clothesline in the corner, catches Cesaro out of the corner with a short arm clothesline, whips him into a knee, short arm knee from Cesaro. Cesaro picks him up in a gourd buster and tosses him right on the top rope, hangs him out to dry. So a running boot sends Swagger off into the barricade. We come back to live action commercial break. The abdominal stretch is again applied on Swagger, and Swagger punches his way out, whip in reverse, and Cesaro back to the abdominal stretch. So he's punching into the ribs, adding more insult to injury, and Swagger counters with a sidewalk slam. So he ducks the clothesline, and a clothesline, and a charging knee in the corner, whip in, and a big boot, and Swagger Bomb connects 1-2, and Cesaro kicks out. So he grabs the ankle, and Cesaro counters, small package, 1-2, and a kick out. So Swagger punches it away in the corner, and he gets, like, cross-chopped in the throat. A big boot gets a 2 count from Cesaro, and he goes to the middle rope and does something that Bully Ray has never been able to do, and that is connect with a senton backsplash off the middle turnbuckle. Gets a 2 off of that for Swagger, climbs up and going for the outside in superplex is blocked. Swagger picks him up and places him on the ring apron. So he clotheslines Cesaro back into the ring, which is unique, obviously. And he ducks the clothesline, pops him up, and instead of the Swiss uppercut, he hits a knee to the ribs. And it's really awesome because he's in a seated position. He's kind of slumped over. Cesaro bounds off the ropes and hits a grounded sliding Swiss uppercut to Swagger. It looked awesome, by the way. Gets a 2 off of that. So he goes for the double stomp. Obviously, since they've been tag team partners, they know each other's repertoire so well that they obviously have each other's next maneuver scouted before it happens. That exactly happens. Double stomp is countered. Goes for the Patriot Lock. Cesaro gets to the ropes. Quick rope break there. A boot in, he goes up top, and he gets run up, and of course, Swagger goes for the Kurt Angle style belly-to-belly, but ends up basically just doing a takedown off the top and going right into the Patriot Lock, and Swagger taps out Cesaro. So yeah, that was a great match there. Very enjoyable contest between these two former tag team partners. The right sentence is Swagger taps out Cesaro, not Swagger taps out, and then I pause and say Cesaro. So yeah, there's always that. That's what happens when you don't edit, folks. So, excuse me. They do the We the People. Flag drops is the Russian flag. Here comes Rusev and Lana out. They stand at the top of the ramp, and they stare down Swagger, and they wave flags, of course, setting up for the flag match that I've been calling for months, and that's what we've got for the build to SummerSlam. So, up next, we don't have a match. We have Michael Cole having a one-on-one interview with Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho. Right before the interview starts, Michael Cole's about to talk, and he says, you know what, Michael, you can go. So he basically just makes Michael Cole bomb out. Bray goes, Chris, do you remember your dreams as a child? I remember a scared little boy that wanted nothing more in his life than to live up to his daddy. Obviously, Jericho's father is a former professional hockey player. For any of you that didn't know. He wonders if Jericho can still see the disappointment in his eyes. It drowned Jericho, left a hole so big that the only way he sought to fill it out was to be a savior of his own. Bray never claimed to be a savior. The only thing he lives for is to help people who cannot help themselves. So in essence, Bray Wyatt is John Kramer. Yes, Bray Wyatt is Jigsaw. I'm sorry, but if I saw Billy the Puppet and I saw Bray Wyatt say, do you want to play a game, I'd probably run. Or run. So, but obviously I follow the buzzer, so we're good to go. Now, given the fact that Bray Wyatt is now Jigsaw, he has to continue, and he says, that's the thing, Chris, you can't just whisper the words anymore. You have to scream it until their ears bleed. The key to the universe, the only way to truly help someone, is to hurt them in a way. Yes, he really is Jigsaw. As long as he's been in this world, he has hurt a lot of people. For this he is not the least bit sorry. He can't resist the urge. There are no consequences for his actions, for he has no conscience. He doesn't believe in heaven or hell, and he hates everything the world has ever created, including himself. He is a monster. He is Bray Wyatt. He is the eater of worlds. The human race is decimated with its lack of fortitude, and Chris Jericho exemplifies that weakness. There is a pale horse on the horizon. He's coming for Chris Jericho. This smile will be the last thing that Jericho ever sees. So he smiles evilly. Jericho smirks and leans over and says, he's not a savior. Wyatt, but after 15 years of being in the WWE, he's become a survivor. You never know what you're going to get with Chris Jericho. There are a lot of different faces or sides. He can't even promise which Jericho's going to show up this Sunday. He will follow the buzzards. He will grab them and shove them down Wyatt's throat. And he's going to shut Wyatt up for good. Once and for all. So Bray laughs, and that's the end of the segment. Chilling promo. Very enjoyable there. I really like this stuff, and their match at SummerSlam should be good. Hopefully it's better than the match at Battleground. And Bray has to win at SummerSlam. And then he has to win the feud at Night of Champions on my birthday, and I think that's the right thing to do and the right direction to go. So, we get our next match, and after yesterday's video, you would know that, obviously, I think Eva Marie is only with the company because she's a pretty face, and she's on Total Divas, and she faces off against the Divas champion, AJ Lee. Okay. So, AJ's got a tight side headlock on Eva. Paige skips out to her music, skipping around the ring, distracting AJ, and allows for a whip-in and a high elbow, gets that, and of course her distraction is momentary, so AJ gets rolled up from behind from Eva Marie, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's it. Even stealing when Eva Marie does not ever need to beat AJ Lee. Sorry. So Paige, since this is apparently Poetry Slam, Paige decides it's, Portland's Poetry Slam is what we're going to call this tonight. That's what Raw is this evening. Paige has a poem for us all. Roses are red. Wood chips... Oh, goodness. Wood chips are beige. I'm sorry I pushed you off the stage. I like you a bunch, but your face is one I have to punch. This part here is vital. I will skip out of SummerSlam with my Divas title. So Paige bombs out, and AJ gets that look in her eye, and Eva's getting up, and AJ just beats Eva like a redheaded stepchild. I wasn't trying. And tosses her into the barricade, and she skips away to the Divas Championship. So yeah, AJ and Paige should be really good on Sunday. Really looking forward to that. Their match didn't really get out of the gate at Battleground, but I think the match at SummerSlam is going to be a whole lot better. And I think that they both have their working boots on, and it's going to be a really good match. So John Cena comes out to retort to what Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar said earlier. This is also money, folks. So basically, he says, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Cena, mocking Paul Heyman. And he says, I'm going to be maimed and conquered by Brock Lesnar on Sunday at SummerSlam. Well, that's if you believe the prognosticator of all prognosticators, Paul Heyman. See, Brock's going to give me the beating of a lifetime. But there's a fact that remains. Brock will not win. Cena says, I'm not laying down for Brock Lesnar, and you can take that any way you want. The internet just exploded right there, by the way. You don't deserve this. There's a little truth in everything, isn't there? One day I will lose this championship, but it's not going to be Sunday, and it's not going to be to you. Where have I heard this before? I don't think that Lesnar taps out Cena with the STF. Nope. I don't think that's going to happen. We're not getting another Montreal in LA on Sunday. But you were thinking it, weren't you? Anyway, Cena continues and says that Lesnar is difficult and uncaring and all bite selfish. But this is business, I understand that. I've heard cheers and I've heard boos, and every single time I've kept that smile on my face. I've even been told I can't wrestle numerous times. So of course he has to also flip the IWC on its head yet again and says, you know what? When does Cena turn? When will Cena finally say enough is enough? When will Cena stop being about the merchandise and the Kmart shoes? I thought that was funny you mentioned that. When does John Cena unleash hell? This Sunday, John Cena fights a beast. And you fans will get your wish. This is not a John Cena that I want, and not a John Cena that I ever want to go back to again. You'll see a Cena that you've never seen before. Just so I can keep this championship away from Brock Lesnar. Say, Brock, this house belongs to you? Hey, Brock, there's a stranger standing in your living room. Try to come down and kick me out. Yeah. Gotta love Denzel Washington. No, Brock. Well, you know what? You can start with my hand. Because I got too many fingers, so I'm going to give you the middle one. See, on this Sunday, I won't repeat history, I'll make it. I'll conquer the conqueror, and I'll beat the one who beats the one. I'll beat the one who beat the one. The champ is here. John Cena delivering a money promo going into SummerSlam on Sunday. Yeah, I'm really hyped to see this match, especially after the two promos. The first one being from Paul Heyman with his awesome rap, and the other one being from Cena, basically delivering the fact that when Cena takes away the comedy, Cena serious is awesome and very marketable in every single way possible. I don't understand why so many fans are against Cena, especially right now. But yeah, it's going to be quite a war at SummerSlam, to say the least. So, we get another and our final edition of Happy Birthday Hulk messages, this one being from Larry King. And Larry King is also joined by the Toolboxes of Bro Country, Florida Georgia line, who I absolutely hate. And they tear off their shirts trying to suck up to the crowd. So, we get our presumable match between Stephanie and Brie. Brie comes out with brand new gear, which matches Bryan's gear. She even has the Yes-style dragon kick pads. She almost trips on her way to the ring. She almost pulled an Ultimate Dragon at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden. But it was not to be. Stephanie comes out not in her wrestling gear, and of course she says that there's not going to be a match because obviously Megan Miller got slapped and she's going to be pressing charges. So the cops come out to read the Miranda rights to Brie, and they have a nice little cue card because obviously, for those of you that don't know, the Miranda rights have to be read specifically or lawyers can jump on that like crazy. So they cuff her and they lead her out, and Stephanie mocks her and says basically, if you can make bail, I'll see you on Sunday. So yeah, okay. You sold me with the last 2 weeks of Brie and Stephanie. Made perfect sense. You sold the entire wrestling industry. Maybe not the entire wrestling industry. We sold a lot of us on the fact that this is actually something worthy of being the main event on Raw. Obviously the last talking segment on Raw. The problem here is they went in the wrong direction and they ruined everything. Now, I think it could still be salvaged, but the fact that they've already brought in a mistress for Daniel Bryan, yeah, they really took several steps back here. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that someone just punched them back into the next state. So yeah, that was terrible. They were in Portland, they got punched all the way to LA. Or actually, no, they're in Portland, they got punched all the way to Augusta, Maine. There you go. So yeah, they're way out of reach right now, and I hope the match delivers on Sunday, and I hope they do something with it, because that storyline was horrible. The only thing this is going to get is another wrestling talent, another job, which the former Jada, Megan Miller, now she actually can wrestle, so I think that they will do that, and they will have her wrestle. I don't know if they have Nikki turn on Brie at SummerSlam, but I do think it could happen down the line. I don't think that she's going to turn now. I think Megan Miller gets involved at SummerSlam. And maybe Brie faces her at Night of Champions, potentially. Who knows? Brie technically still... She has her job back officially, so she can actually wrestle again. So maybe they'll go that direction. Who knows? So I thought two things would happen tonight. Number one, I thought that The Miz would face Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler would get Ryder a win in a non-title match. That didn't happen. And I thought that Heath Slater would take a tremendous beating at the hands of the Authority because he beat Seth Rollins and forced the stipulation to be chosen by Ambrose. Neither of which happened. Dolph ended up getting in the ring. He did face off against Heath Slater, so they missed a golden opportunity to turn Slater like straight babyface because the fans obviously want to cheer for him. And they put him against Dolph and had him act heelish, so yeah, that was a missed opportunity. Slater's got a chin lock. Dolph punches his way out, whip in reversed, and nice heel kick from Slater. Got a 2 off of that. Goes back to the chin lock, and Ziggler jawbreakers out. Ducks the clothesline, hooking clothesline, and Standing drop kick, charging splash, misses, and ends up getting caught. Zigzag 1, 2, 3. But normally that's how it would have went. But this time it didn't. Because the zigzag stopped because the Miz jumped up on the ring apron and he got knocked off. And Ziggler powders after him to try to chase the Miz and not really paying attention to the count. He tosses in the barricade, he fight up to the ring steps, and Slater wins via countout after the match is over. Looks like they're going to shake hands, and instead of shaking hands, Slater goes for a boot, Dolph catches it, and hits a zigzag anyway. So yeah, that was a whole bunch of nothing. So yeah, if they don't do the Zack Ryder thing on SmackDown, I wouldn't be surprised, because apparently Miz TV is going to have Roman Reigns, so we got that to look forward to. In your wrestling main event of the evening is Randy Orton against Sheamus. Yeah, it was okay, whatevs. I've seen better between these two. I've seen worse. Orton got a chin lock on Sheamus when we come back commercial break. Gee, giant shock there. He's a viper, not a python. Hits the overhand right and clotheslines Orton over the top to the floor. A boot in, and Orton stops the momentum with that boot and goes for the backdrop suplex. Not on the barricade, but on the announce table. So he doesn't break the table, of course. Matthew branded Japanese table. And tosses him in 1-2, and Sheamus kicks out. Chinlock applied yet again. Sheamus counters the backdrop suplex and accidental charging shoulder in the corner. High knee lift and charging knee in the corner, and snap suplex stops that normal flurry that I'm used to and gets a 2 off of that. Goes for the Finley roll, and of course the elbow strikes out of it from Orton. Orton goes to the floor to stop the momentum. Sheamus gives chase, and of course he tosses Orton in. Orton with a kick straight to the face and goes for the snakebite DDT, gets countered, backdrop. Orton lands on the ring apron and eats the clubbing blows from Sheamus. Sheamus picks him up with a Finley roll, connects 1-2 and a kick out. Irish curse backbreaker set up. Orton elbows his way out and whip in reverse. Kick in by Orton, 3.0 backbreaker connects, and Sheamus eats the snakebite. This time it actually does connect. Sheamus ends up getting neck snap on Orton. Battering ram and an over-the-shoulder power slam gets a 2 off of that off the ropes. Sheamus signals for the brogue, and Orton ducks, goes for the RKO, gets tossed off. Sheamus ends up going shoulder first into the ring post. Orton charges in. Sheamus gets the boot up. Sheamus dives off into the RKO, 1, 2, 3, and Randy Orton wins. Like I said, I probably am the only one that'll say this. I'd like to see Randy Orton win on Sunday. It won't happen, but I'd like to see it happen because it'll be really interesting to see where they go there and give Roman Reigns a big moment at Night of Champions. I do think that we see involvement from Triple H, and I do think that builds to them facing off. I don't think they do it at TLC. I think they do it at the Royal Rumble. I think Triple H and Roman Reigns will probably be set for the Rumble. But a lot of people are thinking that Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble because obviously he has to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania if you want to believe what everybody is saying. And then, of course, after he wins, he loses to Seth Rollins. Unless Rollins loses the briefcase to Dean Ambrose, which possibly could happen. But we're not there yet. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll talk about that in the NXT and SmackDown video. So the roster are on the ramp, and everybody's out there for Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. So Mean Gene Okerlund comes out, and Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart is in the ring. So they bring Hogan out, and he comes out, and he poses in the ring. Mean Gene says, "We're here to celebrate you," and throws an awesome video package WWE's way, creating that tremendous Hogan video package, hitting all the highlights, slamming Andre the Giant, the formation of the New World Order, the match against The Rock at WrestleMania, everything, all the major Hulk Hogan high spots. The only thing missing from that, obviously, is TNA, because they don't have those video library. So Hogan says he's speechless, but he's going to try to muster up something. He's like, "Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene." And Vince basically gave him a birthday card, and it had some money in it, and of course it was $9.99, because Hulk Hogan had to buy the network after all, so he could watch SummerSlam on his own. Hogan says it's been the best birthday ever, all the birthday wishes from everyone, all the Hulkamaniacs on Facebook, Twitter, all the different social medias. To everyone out there, he wants to give a sincere thank you. See, after you've been in the business so long, after 61 years young, you start to reflect, and he hopes he touched everyone's lives as much as he hopes he touches everyone's lives like everyone has touched his. There we go. Ric Flair's music plays. He comes out, goes to shake hands with Hogan. He shakes hands with Mean Gene instead. And the old WCW Mr. Wonderful theme plays, and Paul Orndorff comes out with his Wile E. Coyote beard, mustache, and he comes out wearing his old Mr. Wonderful robe, and then he gets a kiss from Rosa Mendez and then one from Eva on the cheek. And here comes Roddy Piper, something no one thought would happen. Piper comes out, and then we hear the NWO music plays. Here comes Kevin Nash looking jacked as ever, getting ready for Magic Mike 2. And Scott Hall comes out, and Nash gives the mic to Hall, and Hall goes, "Hey, yo." Like, the Hulkster, the Outsiders are honored to be here on your birthday. He says, "You look pretty sweet in the red and yellow, but you know what? We're going to do a little survey. How many people like to see Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow?" People boo. Or how about people see Hulk Hogan in that good old black and white of the NWO? He tears off his shirt. Underneath the Hulk's Rules shirt is a old school black and white NWO shirt. Fran goes nuts for that. So, and he says, of course, survey says one more for the good guys. So Kevin Nash gets on the mic and he sings happy birthday to Hulk Hogan, and it is interrupted. Here comes Brock Lesnar. Lesnar comes out, he gets in the ring, and he's staring down WCW is basically what he's doing. So Brock gets up in Flair's face, and then he walks down, looks everyone over, and he gets up in Hulk Hogan's face. He says, "Party's over, Grandpa." Drops the mic. Here comes John Cena, runs out. He stares down with Lesnar, and of course Lesnar doesn't fight for free, so he bombs out. And that's the end. That's the end of Raw. Well, it continued on the network with the birthday celebration. Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil bring out a tiny, tiny cake, which looks like it might as well be baked in an easy bake oven. And they end up tossing it in each other's face, so they feud over cake and they fight with cake. So they bring out a real cake, and of course it has $9.99 as the candles. Hogan blows out the candles. Everyone sings happy birthday to Hulk Hogan, and everyone bombs out as Hogan has his moment and poses in the center of the ring as we go home from the network. So yeah, for a go-home show, it's kind of wishy-washy. What would I recommend on this show? Recommend Paul Heyman's promo. Why wouldn't I? It's absolutely brilliant. Definitely sold Brock Lesnar as being your next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns and Ryback, only recommend if you're a Roman Reigns fan. It was okay for what it was. Rollins and Van Dam have had better matches. I'd actually would go back and watch their last match. It was a lot better. And the stuff with Ambrose fighting with Rollins was good, but it was short. That made sense. Completely overlooked the stuff with Megan Miller, unless you're just curious and like tabloid television. Cesaro and Swagger was awesome. Easily match of the night. Very enjoyable contest between those two. I love the one-on-one with Bray and Jericho. I thought that worked really well. And John Cena's promo, very passionate promo, very enjoyable there. And I would check. That's about it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'd recommend. And the final segment, the Hogan birthday segment, that was really good. So yeah, that was Raw. Sometimes it's nice to sit back and mark out. It really is. Not have to talk about how much you like spots and everything. Sometimes it's nice to mark out. And I've never been a Hogan fan, but it was really cool to see that. Just like whenever I saw Hogan in the Impact Zone, actually shook Hogan's hand at ringside when I was at ringside. I will state that I've never been a Hogan fan, but I was for that night. So there's always that. But yeah, that was Raw, and we'll talk NXT and SmackDown later this week. So that's coming up. Little Birdie tells me we're going to get a reveal of sorts from Halloween Horror Nights starting tomorrow, or starting today. So those videos will be coming tomorrow, actually, because tomorrow we're going to talk TNA Impact the night that it happened. I have 3 awesome pages of notes. So technically I have 6 pages of notes because they're front and back and they're full. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And Thursday, it looks like, obviously, we are going to be, we don't know what we're going to do yet. We don't know if we're watching The Giver or if it's on Thursday night or not. We'll find out. If not, we're going to be filming on Thursday night, and Friday, going to be watching The Giver if we don't get to watch it on Thursday, and AJ's movie reviews will be out on Friday. Saturday, maybe AJ's movie reviews. Ashley may be joining us on Saturday. Could be some Halloween Horror Nights news. Sunday's brand new Versus, continuing the Aronofsky train, and we kick back into SummerSlam for Monday, so NXT and SmackDown have to do another day, so we'll have to do it before the weekend's over. So you may get several days this week when you're getting more than one video, so there's always that. So, that was Raw this week. So in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on that Facebook fan page. It is Suro and Disney Pop on Facebook. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Suro and Disney. If you'd like to send me a friend request on Facebook, you're more than welcome. It's Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions. You want to talk WWE, you want to talk SummerSlam with me. We'll do actual predictions on the NXT and SmackDown video. I promise you that. And we're going to get that in before SummerSlam. You want to talk TNA Impact with me? We can talk about that. We can talk about Disney, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights in general. If you want to ask me questions, we do a Q&A. I can take that question-wise, and I'll answer you back that way. And also, if you'd like to become a podcast yourself, send your content to this channel via my email, sirandisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Enjoy SummerSlam this week, and enjoy the rest of the content from Halloween Horror Nights starting today. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.